go again. This is it for another year. Temperatures in October took up a huge dip and they just never rebounded. Time to get some fuel and get some stabilizer into these beasts. There. Some fresh fuel, a little bit of sea foam in the tank. So I figure why not get out, go for a little rip, get some stabilizer through the fuel system, freeze my ass off, and maybe do a little year in review here. My year on this thing was not good, but it sure as hell could have been a lot worse. Back in the first week of July, dropped an intake valve on this thing. Only found out days later that it was a pretty common occurrence with this generation ZX10, and you know, probably could have been avoided had I been watching for it, known about it. Maybe we'll do a link up in the corner here for a recap of what all went down with that. So that took a huge bite out of my riding season with this thing. It's 20 some odd days I was down, mostly waiting for parts. Don't see many of these things around here. You know, like I said, it could have been so much worse. The drop valve is no joke. It can really do some damage, and it really did not do much damage on this one. Basically just replace everything that had anything to do with that valve, including the valve guide. It broke the valve guide off. So a little trip to the machine shop for the head, reassemble, and we were back in business. So as much as there is to complain about there, I really can't complain about it. Besides that, with this one, I guess it was just the regular old maintenance items, mostly just oil and filter. I did notice once again though that that chain, it's got an arcade chain on this thing, and it's on its way out, and it doesn't even seem that old. The bike wasn't even old enough to have an aftermarket chain on it when I bought it, but it did, and it's not very good. In my experience, you can kind of tell when you got yourself a cheap chain whenever you need to adjust it after, you know, almost every ride. It's still well within the limit on the adjustment, but I mean, it's just a matter of time. Nowhere near the quality of the DID chain that came on the ZX12. So I guess at the first of the year, we installed a power commander on this. We deleted the cats on it, put a decat pipe in there, and then just rode the damn thing. Still managed to get a few thousand kilometers on it, even with all the downtime. Showing just under 28.5 right now. I'm sure I'm forgetting some stuff. Man, that's right, there's construction here and I cannot go through it. So all in all, I guess with the ZX10, pretty good year, not bad. As always, I'm left wondering if I still want it. You know, always have wandering eyes when it comes to motorcycles, always looking at other brands, other types, other models. As usual, still staring at adventure bikes when they roll by. Jeez, is that an Audi R8 over there too? It's an odd time of year to be seeing all these fancier cars around. And of course, just naked standard bikes like the Z1000. Wondering if that would be a better fit for a little more comfort. But then you get out on a faster ride and start ripping on this thing and you realize that, yeah, this is what I want. But, you know, you don't ride like that every day. I guess what I just really need is a bigger garage and a lot more money. Just have a dozen or so bikes to cover all my bases, right? I guess one more major issue that totally screwed up the last portion of the riding season for me was back on October 17th. I sliced this finger right to the bone. Like, we're talking exposed tendons and everything. So nothing like a workplace injury to really halt your riding season. It's only recently I can fit this hand back inside of a glove. I had 5 stitches across the finger and just got them out yesterday, so since there's supposed to be more rain and snow and shit coming tonight, I figured today is the day to get this done. Alright, the rest of my good fingers are starting to get numb, so let's switch bikes. There we go. 1 year already. 2018 400 Ninja. Man, this was like the coolest thing ever. It was the first brand new bike we'd ever bought. It just ain't brand new anymore, I guess. Alright, same plan. Get some fuel, freeze my ass off. Get some stabilizer through the fuel system. Hey, there's the wound. Not looking nearly as bad as it once did. Typically run regular in this thing, but Supreme has no ethanol. It's going away for a couple months, so Supreme it is. Alright, away we go again. So I guess the first thing we can say about this thing is that there was really nothing to complain about all year. We've got 3,838 kilometers showing at the moment. I think that's a trip meter. But yeah, odometer is the same. That's the second trip meter that's never been reset. There was 1 kilometer on it when we purchased it back in March, at the end of March. Today is October 27th. So that's about 7 months of riding. But we really can't call it 7 months of riding because, you know, life gets in the way and all. And this is primarily Tracy's bike. She primarily drives her bikes when I drive my bikes. So there was an entire month where I didn't drive any bikes because my ZX-10 had exploded. So I'm happy with that amount of kilometers. That's pretty good. And in those just over 3,800 kilometers, we've had like 0 issues with this thing. It's been solid, you know, as expected. The only one thing that did screw up was this, you know, cheap charger that I put in there from Amazon. It's got 2 USB ports and a voltmeter built into it. The voltmeter still works, but nothing will charge out of the USB ports. That is no fault of Kawasaki's, though. That's trying to save a few cents and buying something cheap on Amazon. I guess that's where it gets you sometimes. I guess besides that, if you were to check out some of the 400 Ninja forums, you might come across a couple things that a few people complained about from time to time. Biggest one being the transmission and shifting issues. Saw none of that. Transmission works flawlessly. A lot of people complaining about just random noises and things that they're hearing. I think a lot of that is due to new riders, mostly. Some of them, this being their first motorcycle, and they're just, you know, every little noise or sound they hear, they kind of get a little panicked by it. And that's fine. I mean, you want to take care of your bike, right? So you get a little worried every time you think it might be misbehaving a little bit. As far as noises, I've heard a few noises out of this thing, but I mean, nothing that concern me. It's all things that I can explain or things that just are irrelevant. They don't really matter. I noticed that sometimes when you're driving along real slow, the bike is so quiet. Even right now, I can kind of hear a ticking, almost a chattery ticking noise, but it really sounds like it's happening in a frequency like the injector's firing. It really sounds like the clatter of injectors. And I mean, take it for what it's worth, but I am a mechanic and these sounds sound normal to me. I don't know. I don't worry about it. I notice when you're on, just when you get on and off the throttle, sometimes it can sound like almost like a switch or relay clicking in somewhere in the bike. If that is what's going on, I don't know, but this is my first motorcycle really with ABS, so I thought maybe it had something to do with that. Maybe it changed the way the ABS behaved when it knew the throttle was open. I don't know. I'm really just taking a shot in the dark at this, and again, the bike works flawlessly, so I'm not worried about it at all. A couple of noises that were mentioned on the 400 forums that I can verify were the horn. At high RPM, they thought the horn was actually going off. I've had this happen to me, but I can confirm it's not the horn like sounding. It's not being activated. It's just the vibration of the bike actually vibrating the horn enough to make it sound like it's activating. Again, it doesn't sound like a full activation like you're pushing the horn button. It's just a noise that sounds like the horn. And it doesn't do it all the time. It's just once in a while. Certain situations when the vibrations are just right, it happens. Another sound that was mentioned on the forums that I confirmed was a noise from the exhaust, like from the headers, directly underneath the bike. People were hearing like a loud popping or banging noise even. I read about it before I experienced it, and I kind of assumed what it was, and I think I was right. You know, these are brand new headers, brand new bike. The first couple times they saw some real heat put into them if you're, you know, idling in traffic for an extended period, or if you're, you know, working the bike pretty good. Just getting some heat into them, you know. The first few times when they started to change color and stuff, you'd hear a little pinging and popping out of them. You know, this is the first time they were really expanding and contracting a lot since they were built. I'd say within the first 500 or 600 kilometers that was over. I haven't heard it in a long time. So the past season has been good. I guess that just leaves plans for the future now. I guess plan number one is definitely to get a new exhaust on this thing. Get some kind of slip-on lined up for it for next year, either over the winter or early in the spring, hopefully. I really plan to get that done by now, but, you know, again, life gets in the way. I really wasn't banking on my ZX-10 to drop a valve, so. The one real mod I did this year that I was very happy with was installing an undertail kit from TST Industries. Fender eliminator, license plate light, and some LED turn signals. And of course the LED turn signal flasher relay to slow down the flashing. It was really some good quality stuff. Everything went together really well, and no issues with it all summer. So I guess my only real complaint this year is I gotta wait till next year to do it all over again. It really seems like winter is setting in early this year, which really sucks. We've got parts of the province that already had almost a foot of snow, and it's not even November. So I guess we'll just get the street bikes to sleep, hopefully get a little more riding in on the dual sport. And then the long wait starts again. So I guess that'll bring us to the end of another one. End of a season, end of a video, end of everything, right? So if you're still watching at this point, you might as well go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Ring that little notification bell and all that good stuff. Don't forget to check out the Fortnite affiliate links. If you're planning on doing any winter shopping for gear or any kind of motorcycle accessories, using those links is a great way to help out the channel with no additional cost to yourself. So thanks for watching for another summer, I guess. We'll catch you on the next one.